All right, so section 10.5 is the last section here in chapter 10, and it's talking about buying a house with a mortgage. So, guys, one thing I do like about this particular class is that, we're not solving a whole lot of equations, but I think we're doing stuff that's, it's useful. I mean, unless if you don't have a house already, at some point you're going to want to get one. This at least gives you a couple of ideas on how you calculate your monthly payment and things like that. All right, so let's see. Homeowner's mortgage is a long-term loan in which the property is pledged as security for payment of the difference between the down payment and the sale price. Okay, so we're talking about a couple of things. Points. Points are just interest. Guys, this is going to be as a decimal. I mean, it'll probably give it to us as a percent, but we're going to change it to decimals. Prepaid by the buyer may be used to reduce the stated interest rate on the lender charges. The buyer's monthly income, before any deductions, is called the gross monthly income. And let's see what else we got. Whoop. Where's my pen? There we go. Okay, so then the next thing we have is something called the adjusted monthly income. Okay, so the adjusted monthly income is the amount after any monthly debt payments have been subtracted if that debt has 10 payments or more, 10 monthly payments or more. Okay. So, the time that we're going to use the adjusted monthly income is if you have, say, a car payment. If you have 9 payments or less, nobody cares. If you have 10 payments or more, then it becomes something to consider, okay? And I say car payments because that's typically what we have as a monthly payment, but it could be credit cards and things like that. All right, let's take a look at the first problem we have here. And it says the Martins wish to purchase a house selling for $249,000. They plan to obtain a loan from their bank. The bank requires a 15% down payment payable to the seller and a payment of 2 points payable to the bank at the time of the closing. So part A says, let's find the down payment. Okay, so to find the down payment, we know that they require 15%. So as a decimal, that's 0.15. Of the selling price, well, the selling price is $249,000. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to grab my calculator right here, move this guy over a little bit, clear it out. Okay, so 0.15 times 249,000 is, so the Martins need to come up with $37,350 as a down payment. That's a lot of money, right? Okay, part B. Part B says, determine the amount of their mortgage. Okay, so think about it this way. This is what we mean by the mortgage. The house costs $249,000. They're going to come up with $37,350. So we're going to take $249,000 and we're going to subtract $37,350. This is now their mortgage. Their mortgage is $211,650. So part B is $211,650. This is going to be their mortgage because they already put that much down. Think about it in terms of you were buying a car, right? Obviously, you're not going to go buy a $250,000 car, but if you buy a car that costs, say, $25,000, and you put $3,000 down, then whatever you're left with, that's your loan, right? That's all they mean by the mortgage. And then there's a part C. Look what part C says. It says, determine the cost of the 2 points paid by the Martins on their mortgage. Well, the mortgage is the $211,650. Okay, guys, I told you all before, points is just think about 2 points as 2%. As a decimal, 0.02. So I'm going to grab my calculator. That number that I have there, I'm going to multiply it by 0.02. And so they need to also come up with another $4,233. Okay. And that's the cost of their 2 points. All right. Okay, so this next part here that you have in your notes is something called the monthly principal and interest payment per $1,000 worth of mortgage, okay? So first thing I want you to notice, we have interest rates going up and down here. Let's see, there we go. Interest rates going up and down. And then we have the number of years going left and right, okay? So we're going to use this table. I'm going to show you how we're going to use it. I'm going to scroll down to the next problem that we got here. And it says, determine the monthly principal and interest payment for a 15-year mortgage when the amount financed is $85,000 and the annual percentage rate APR is 4%. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this number 85,000. Okay, I'm going to take that number and I'm going to divide it by 1,000, and the number that I'm going to come up with is 85. Okay. The reason why I'm dividing it by 1,000 is because of this piece right here. See how it says per $1,000 worth of mortgage? Whatever my mortgage is, I'm always going to divide it by 1,000. Okay. So now I'm going to take that same number, 85, and I'm going to multiply it by one of those numbers that we have in our table here. Okay. So I'm going to look at 4% in 15 years. So let me scroll back up here. Okay. 4% in 15 years is that number right there. It's, you know what, let me do this. Clear this thing out. Tell you what, let's grab this one. Turn it on and clear it out. I'm going to type in the number 7.39688. Okay, that number is going to get multiplied by 85. Okay. So when we multiply by the 7.39688, we came up with, I want to say it was 600 and something, $628.73. $628.73. This is their monthly mortgage payment. It's that easy. It's really just using that table. Okay, let's try the next one. We're going to go about it exactly the same way. Okay, first thing, my number is 235,000. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is divide it by 1,000. So we come up with 235. You don't got to do the little, but it helps. Okay, so now we're going to take 235 times. We're looking at 20 years, 4%. So let me scroll back up here. Okay, and now I want 20 years at 4%. That's the number that I'm going to use. So let me grab my calculator again. Write out 6.05980 times, what was our number? 235. 235. Oops. That's one and delete it. There we go. And I'm coming up with $1,424.05. So $1,424.05, right? Okay. There's my monthly mortgage payment, right? Look at the difference in the two. $628.73, $1,424.05. Couple of things. They're both at 4%. This is actually less years, and this is more years. But the main thing is it's that 235,000, right? All right. Let's take a look at the next problem that we got here in our list. And it says buying a house. Anna's buying a house, selling for $225,000. To obtain the mortgage, Anna is required to make a 15% down payment. And then she obtains a 30-year mortgage at an interest rate of 5%. Okay, so the first part says, let's find the down payment. Okay, so to find our down payment, we're going to take our $225,000. We're going to multiply it by 15%. So for part A, let me grab my calculator. Just move it over here a little bit. Okay, so I'll take 225,000 times 0.15. Okay, and I'm coming up with 33,750. I think we did something like that similar earlier. 33,750. Okay. Part B now says let's find our mortgage. Okay, so remember what we're going to do? We're going to take that 225. So 225,000. And we're going to minus 33,750. Okay. So her mortgage is $191,250. $191,250. Okay. Now, Part C says, let's find the monthly payment for principal and interest. Okay, so remember what we're going to do. We're going to take 191,250. We're going to divide it by 1,000. So let me grab my calculator again. Look, there's that number right there. Just divide it by 1,000. 191.25. So 191.25 and times. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to 30 years and 5%. So I have it right here for us too. Here's 30 years and here's 5%. It's that 5 point whatever that is. So look, I'm going to grab my calculator right here. 30 years at 5% is the 5.36822. So I'm going to take this number times 5.36822 equals, here's my monthly mortgage payment. It's going to give me, times whatever that was giving me, bring this back up, 1,026 and 67 cents. There we go. We're done. Okay. Let's try a couple more like that, guys, just to make sure that we're good with all this stuff here. Let's take a look. It says buying a brownstone townhouse. Felix is purchasing a brownstone townhouse in Brooklyn for $2,100,000. To obtain the mortgage, Felix is required to make a 19% down payment. Okay. So Part A says, let's find our down payment. Okay, so Part A, the down payment is going to be equal to $2,100,000 times, in this case, it's 19%. Okay. Let me grab my calculator again. Okay. Clear it out. 2,100,000. Let's see, make sure I got that. Yep, there we go. Times 0.19. Okay. Felix has to come up with $399,000 for the down payment on his townhouse. Okay, Part B. What's the mortgage? Well, let's take $2,103,000 minus 399,123. He still owes $1,701,000. Okay. So let me bring this back down. He still owes $1,701,000. Okay. All right. Now it says determine his monthly payment for the principal and interest. Okay. So guys, remember for Part C, the first thing we're going to do is take that $1,701,000. We're going to divide it by 1,000. Okay. Get rid of those zeros. We're going to end up with 1,701. Okay. Times. Now let's take a look. What do we need? 25 years at 6.5%. Okay. So let me bring this back up here. Here's 25 years at 6.5%. That's this number right here, the 6.75207. Okay, so we said we had 1,700 times, man, I already lost it. 6.5 at 6.75207. 6.75207 5207 equals, okay, so here is Felix's, 1701. Did I do 1701? I did 1700. Oops. Okay. So I'll tell you what. Easy way to fix it. Second entry. Back over here. It was 1701. Delete that. Insert the number 1. There we go. Okay. So $11,485.27. $11,485 and already forgot the change. Sorry guys, I'm 46. 27 cents. I'm getting a little forgetful now. There we go. Okay. Let's keep scrolling along here. Let's see what we got. Okay, paying points. Let's take a look at this next problem here. It says Martha is buying a house, selling for $195,000. Bank wants a minimum down payment of 20%. Okay, part A, let's find our down payment. All right, so we already know how to do this. We're going to take 195 times 0.20. Grab my calculator again, clear it out. 195 times 0.20 equals, let's see, $39,000. Okay. Part B says how much is her mortgage. Okay, so we're going to take the 195 and we're going to subtract off the 39,000. And that gives us $156,000. 156,000. Okay. Part C now just says, what's the cost of the 2 points? So guys, I'm not even going to use that table. I don't need it here. It's just asking me for the 2 points. So remember, we're going to take 156,000. 2 points is like 2%. So now we're going to take this number times 0.02. Gives me $3,120. $3,120. Boom. And we got it. All right. Guys, I'm going to come back to this problem in a minute. I want to do this one, and then we'll come back and do the one before that, okay? So let's take a look at what we got here. It says a 30-year conventional mortgage. Ingrid obtains a 30-year, $63,750 conventional mortgage at 8.5%. On a house selling for $75,000. Her monthly payment, including principal and interest, is $490.18. It says she pays 0 points. Determine the total amount Ingrid will pay for her house. Okay, so one thing this problem has already given me, it's already given me her monthly payment. Okay, it says her monthly payment is going to be $490.18. So part A says we want to know what's she going to pay total. Well, if this is her monthly payment, $490.18. If we wanted to figure out, say, how much money she's going to pay in a year, we would multiply that by 12, right? So if I take my calculator right here, clear that out, 490.18 times 12, that would give me $5,882.16. Okay, that's how much she would pay in 1 year. But she's doing this over a period of 30 years. So now I'm going to multiply that number by 30. So times 30. Okay. So she actually ends up paying a total of $176,464 and 80 cents, right? Okay. This is my answer for part A, right? That's what her total amount, the total amount that she actually paid was, right? Okay. Now, part B says, how much of the cost is going to be interest? Well, think of how much the house cost. The house cost $75,000, right? So I'm going to take my calculator right here, and I'm going to say, what's 75,000 minus, actually, you know what? Her mortgage was this amount right here. She's not paying interest on necessarily all the 75 because she probably put a down payment. That's why she was only mortgaging this amount. So let me take the 176, 464 and 80 cents, and we're going to subtract off this 63,750, and that gives me $112,000, 714.8. So 112,714.8, 112,714.8. Excuse me. All right, so guys, you know what? Actually, I made a little boo-boo right here, so let me erase this. It is, from the cost of it's going to be interest, that was the cost, okay? So that was my mistake. Let me fix that part again. So I'm just going to do this real quick, and I'm really subtracting it from the 75,000 because that was the cost of the home, okay? So my bad. Let me fix that for us here. So it's 101,464.8, 101,464.8. Okay. So this is how much of it is interest. Okay. Now, Part C says, how much of the first payment of the mortgage is actually applied to the principal? Okay, so the way we're going to figure this out, if you remember our simple interest formula, I equals P times R times T. Give me one quick second. Pause this. Okay, so we're going to find the interest, okay? So the interest, the principal, the amount of money that they're actually financing is at $63,750, okay? Let's see, our interest rate is 8.5%, so as a decimal, that's 0.085. Now it says the first payment. So the first payment is the one out of the 12, right? The first payment. So I'm going to grab my calculator right here, and we move this over a little bit, clear it out. So $63,750 times 0.085, okay? I'm just going to go like this, guys, times 1 and then divided by 12. And that gives me, to the nearest penny, $451.56. So $451.56. In that first payment, that's how much of it was actually interest. The question is asking me, though, how much of it is applied to the principal? Well, look at what her payment is. Her payment is $490.18. And out of that $490.18, if $451.56 of it went to the interest, then whatever's left over actually goes to the principal. So, let me move this over again. So I'm going to take $490.18, and I'm going to subtract $451.56, and out of that first payment, only $38.62. $38.62 actually went to the principal. Kind of sucks, yeah. When you guys, this applies whether you have a car or house. Those first few payments are all interest. As time goes on, more of your payment goes to the principal and very little goes to the interest. So if you've ever paid, if you ever bought a car, if you start noticing towards the end, your payments make a much bigger dent in your debt, okay? All right, let's come back over here and let's take a look at this problem that we still got to do. All right, it says the Gunthers' gross monthly income is $3,200. Oh, come on, why is my pen not working again? They have 25 remaining payments, remaining car payments at $335. The Gunthers are applying for a 15-year, $150,000 mortgage at 5% interest to buy a new house. The taxes and insurance on the house are $225 a month. The credit union will approve a loan that has a total monthly house payment of principal, interest, property taxes, and homeowners insurance that is less than or equal to 28% of their adjusted monthly income. Okay, it says determine 28% of their adjusted monthly income. All right, so remember the adjusted monthly income. Their gross monthly income is $3,200. Because they have 10 or more payments, we have to subtract that amount. So we're going to say 335. We're going to subtract that because they still have quite a few payments on that. So if I take 3,200 and I subtract off 335, I'm left with 2865. This here, let's see, 2865. This is what we call the adjusted gross income. Okay. Look at Part A. Part A says, can we find 28% of that? Of course we can. It's 2865 times 0.28. Okay. So I'm just going to grab my calculator again, multiply that by 0.28. That gives me $802.20. So $802.20. Okay, now let's go to Part B. It says determine their total monthly house payment including principal, interest, taxes, and homeowners insurance. Okay, so they're going to get $150,000 at 5% interest for 15 years. So remember, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take the number 150,000. We got to divide it by 1,000, right? So we're going to get rid of those, get rid of those. We're going to end up with 150, and that's going to be the number we're going to multiply when we go to 5% in 15 years. So let me scroll back up here again. Here we go. 5% in 15 years is this number right here. So let me grab my calculator. Oh man, what was the number we had? Was it 150? Yeah. Okay, so let's take 150 times, so 5% in 15 years, 7.90794. Okay, that's going to give me 1186 and 19 cents. So let me see, 1186 and 19 cents. 1186 and 19 cents. Okay, so guys, remember what we just found right now was the principal and interest. It still asks me to find the taxes and the homeowner's insurance, and it tells me that right here. It tells me that's another 225. Okay, so I need to add that to that number now. Okay, so we're going to add 225 to it. So now I end up with 1411 and 19 cents. Okay, 1411 and 19 cents. Okay, now let me just kind of clean up some of this mess here. All right. Let me get rid of that. Okay. It says the credit union will approve a loan that has a total monthly house payment of principal, interest, property taxes, and homeowners insurance that is less than or equal to 28% of their monthly adjusted monthly income. Okay, so they're saying that as long as this number here is less than or equal to this number here, they're going to qualify. But this number is not smaller than that one. So do they qualify? No. They don't qualify. The only way they could qualify, guys, is if this number here were to be smaller than $802.20, okay? So anyway, that was 10.5. I hope it makes sense. Let me know if you got questions, okay?